Hey Warriors, welcome back. And if you're new to the channel, welcome.
Well, this is today's project. We found this free on Facebook Marketplace, mid-century modern dresser. It's got some issues. It's a veneer, but there's some areas where the veneer is chipped out pretty bad. We'll show that to you.
Fix her up.
And we're going to restore this piece and make it beautiful. So stick with us and we'll show you what we got going on and we'll get started. The first thing we're going to do is clean the unit off. We're using some Dawn dishwashing soap and water just to make sure we get all the grease and dust and dirt and everything off of the unit. We're really concerned only with doing the outside for now. We'll do the inside later because with all the work we're going to be doing, we'll probably just get the inside all full of dirt and dust and everything anyway. So we're going to start by just making sure we have all the surfaces that we need to work on cleaned off and rinsed off. You guys can see this is not original hardware. We got extra holes. We're trying to determine the best way to take this finish off. We tried our carbide scraper, and as you can see, it's taking some of the finish off, but it takes quite a bit to get through it. It's going to be a lot of scraping. So we're going to use an 80 grit to go through the laminate and our sander. So we're just going to try to cut through most of the finish with the 80. Then we'll probably go up to a 120 to get the rest of the finish off. So we'll see if that works any better. So I hit this with the 80 and it still wasn't taking it off. So we actually went down to a 40. And this is all done with a 40 grit. I did it just until you can just barely start seeing the wood through it. We don't want to chew into the wood with a 40 grit. So you have to be really careful doing that and go really light. And I just did it to get most of the coating off until we started seeing some of the wood. Now, when I do the front edges, the sides, the drawers, I'll probably start with an 80 or even a 120 and see if it cuts it first. A lot of times the top is the thickest part. And then if it's not cutting it, then I could go down or to a larger grit. I go from a 120 to an 80 and even to a 40 if I need to, like I did here. But after going to the 40, it is scraping pretty well. So I think we're gonna go ahead and scrape and get as much as we can off. And then once we do that, I'll go back with probably a 120 to get the rest of these little pieces off that we're not getting. Now on the edges, I'm probably also going to sand that rather than trying to scrape. So we'll keep going with this and we'll see where it all goes. Remember when you're sanding, make sure you're wearing your mask. You should even wear it when you're scraping. Okay, so now we're up to the 120 grit. We're just polishing this out, getting rid of the rest of the finish that's on. we're going to take care of some of this veneer. In this particular veneer, we're going to try to replace. This would be a really good time to have a chisel, which we don't have. So we have the unit set up on its sides. So you don't get confused what I'm doing here. This piece right here should be the same as this one. This is the bottom drawer where all the veneer was peeled off, and it was because it was hitting here because it was going in crooked because the drawer was sliding over this. This is actually broken. It needs to be thicker so that it stops the drawer from going in past this. So we are going to take this off and replace it. I'm hoping we can just pop it off. Oh, it's going to break on us. Okay. We are going to use the Mohawk epoxy putty stick to fill in some of these little gaps. Okay, so the putty stick is a two-part system. When you do this, just so you know, when you mix this together, it does harden fairly quickly. So if you're going to be doing a number of spots like we are, one of the things you can do is you can cut off a piece like so.
Where's the lid for that?
And then one of the things you can do is you can actually cut this like this. And cut it in fours. Like so. So we do it that way. That way we can mix up a little bit at a time. And then you can just fill your small pieces like this. You want to try to kind of get it in here, and you can mold it so that you come very close to the shape you need. Like that. And we can sand that down. So it makes pretty quick work of some of your nicks. Okay, so we're getting ready to stain. We're going to start by doing a slip coat of mineral spirits on the surface. I'm going to do that. And then Cindy is going to follow up with the stain. And we're using the General Finishes Gel Stain in Candlelight. Doing the mineral spirits just kind of, we call it a slip coat. It kind of evens out the stain and makes it a little easier to spread and to keep it even. It is not the same as a stain conditioner for a pre-stain conditioner. It just tends to help the gel stain spread a little easier. Okay, so I think we're ready to do this. The rest of the drawer looks pretty good. Looks nice and even. It's just this area right here. So we're going to go ahead and start by giving it a coat of lacquer. We're using the Mohawk pre-catalyzed in satin. And then we're going to use our toner. See if we can even that out. And then we'll go back to the lacquer as a final coat. So guys, when you're spraying this, lacquer is not real friendly to your lungs. So make sure that you're wearing a good mask, a mask that's rated for fumes, like this one. You do not want to be breathing this. Okay, so let's go ahead with our back. It's been about 5 minutes. It's already dry. It feels good. So I want to explain real quick why we did our satin first before we did our toner. Lacquer doesn't go on layer by layer. When you spray another coat of lacquer on top of this, it kind of melts into itself. So it's kind of like a chemical bond, so to speak. So each layer that you put on kind of melts into the layer before it. That's unlike other top coats where the layers just sit on top of each other. These actually kind of melt into each other. So we put on a layer of our satin top coat first. Now when we put on our toner, which this is a toner, when we put on our toner, it will kind of melt into the layer that's already here. It will self-level and it will kind of spread itself out and become very even. The only thing with toners is you want to make sure you don't spray too much. You want to go little by little with the toners and let it dry and then see how it turns out. The reason for that is the toners can get darker as they dry, so you may think it looks good and then when it dries it's really dark. So with the toners we have to go really light, and if we need to do several coats to get it where we want it, then that's what we do. So we're just gonna and that's all we're going to do for this one. We're going to let that dry, see how that turns out, and then we can hit it again if we need to, and we'll see how it starts looking. Okay, it's only been a couple of minutes, it's already dry, so we're going to go ahead and do a little more. It's really turning a nice color with this toner. Not sure if we're going to be able to get that the way we want it, but we're going to try, see what happens.
So we wanted to clean these without taking the patina off. So we want the patinaed look. So I scrubbed them in the Dawn dish soap and baking soda. Put that on there, let them dry. And I just reactivated it. And I'm gonna put them back in a little bit of dish soap and let them sit there.
I'll take it out and show how it looks.
You gotta rinse it. So it still has the patina on it.
It's nice.
But when I dry it, it'll look like this. We have a test. So it'll be a little shinier.
Well, we're coming down to the final reveal, and we just want to thank all of you for your support. We really do appreciate it. Our channel's growing, and that's because of you. So we've got some before and after pictures we're going to show you. A little bit different format on this video than we've been doing. We're going to show you some of the specific areas that we repaired. We hope you enjoy them. And let us know in the comments what you think. And as always, have a flippin' awesome day.